Hey guys, welcome back. I'm sorry you guys have seen. I've used Miss Robinson's videos the last couple days. Been trying to catch up, but I'm so glad you guys are back. Um, I am glad to see those of you that are working and submitting things. Make sure you stay on top of your stuff. It's a new semester. Um, Everybody has 100 right now, so let's maintain that. Let's keep it up. First thing, make sure you're doing your attendance checks every single day. If you do not do your attendance checks, you're going to be marked absent. And when those absences accrue, you end up getting Saturday school, okay? Because you have to make up those hours that you're missing when you don't come to school, when you don't attend and do the stuff you're supposed to be doing, okay? So make sure you're doing your attendance checks every day. If you have questions about those attendance checks, email me. I'll help you on them, okay? All right. So we are in unit 6 now. You should have already set up your journal and watched the video. Miss Robinson, I think, explained that um, this stuff we're doing now it's too hard to type. So your best bet is to either print off all of the notes and write on the page themselves, or just copy all the notes onto a notebook paper. You need to keep them all together. We still are going to do a journal grade, okay? It's going to look a little bit different, but you need to make sure you're keeping up with your journal stuff, okay? Make sure you're paying attention to the videos. Yesterday, you should have watched Unit 6, Lesson 2, and started on products with powers practice. So I'm going to look at a couple of these problems with you right now. Let me get my iPad here. I do have it connected already. I feel like I'm always behind a step. Here we go. Okay, let's see if I can put these side by side here. So I'm going to open this up. Hopefully you have worked some of these problems. By the video, you should be able to do question 1 and 2 pretty easily. If you don't know how, email me. I'll make another video for you. I'll help you out. I'm going to do number 3 with you because I want to talk about this one. So number 3 is -4 m cubed squared. Okay, so from our video, we should have learned from our discovery activity that when we have an exponent outside the parentheses, that means we multiply it by the exponents inside the parentheses. And even though this 4 doesn't have an exponent there, I understand that there's a 1. My exponent's 1, okay? Because the square root of -4 to the power of 1 is -4. If the exponent is 1, my base stays the same, okay? So I'm going to multiply those exponents by this exponent. So this will become -4 squared. And I put that -4 in parentheses because the negative sign is inside the parentheses here. That means I'm squaring it too. Okay? So I'm going to do -4 squared, and then m, and my exponent on m is 3. So 3 times 2 is 6. Well, I don't see this answer choice over here. But this part of this expression, I know how to simplify, right? We know how to do this. What is -4 squared? Well, that's the same thing as -4 times -4, m to the 6. And -4 times -4 is negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 4 is 16. So that is 16 m to the 6. Okay? So I think your answer choices are in a little bit different order, but mine would be B. Okay, this one right here, I think you can do. I'm just going to explain that we remember that multiplication is commutative, which means that we can write it. That means 2 times 6 is the same thing as 6 times 2. We can write it any order we want, right? So that means I can rewrite this as C4 times C3 plus B2 times B5. I can put my C's together and I can put my B's together. Then I'm going to add these 2 exponents, add these 2 exponents, and I'll have an answer. Okay, so I'll let you guys do that one. Let's see. I'll do number 7 with you. Hopefully you can go back, apply the same idea to number 6, okay? So on number 7, this was number 3 here. Oops. This is number 7. We have -y to the 5th power times negative 2y to the 10th power. So I can reorder this. This is a negative 1, right? We understand it's negative 1. So this means I have negative 1 times negative 2 times y to the 5th times y to the 10th. So really, I'm just multiplying my coefficient times my coefficient. So negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. And then when I multiply variables, I add their exponents. So I have a 5 plus a 10. That's going to give me y to the 15. Okay, so use the same concept to do number 6. Those are very similar. This one, I feel like people are making it a lot more difficult than it really is. So just remember, you're multiplying your exponents. When you raise a power to a power, you multiply the exponents. So 3 times 2 is 6, times 5 is 30, x to the 30. And here, be really careful on number 9 that, oops, I'm too far. There we go. So 2 times a squared b to the 4 to the 0 power. We discovered yesterday that anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So that means all the stuff here that's raised to the power of 0 becomes 1. But that 2 is not inside the parentheses. That 2 is not raised to the power of 0. So I still have a 2 times a 1. And 2 times 1 is 2. Okay? So make sure you complete this assignment. It's your first grade for the 9 weeks. So get that done. Submit it. Next thing is let's look at our notes. So I'm going to switch over here to Unit 6, Lesson 4. We're going to look at quotients of powers. Okay, so yesterday we practiced expanding things when we were multiplying, and now we're just going to divide. Quotient means divide. And we're going to see what happens to those exponents as we divide. Okay, so here on this first one, we have 2 to the power of 3, which means we're doing 2 times 2 times 2. We're going to do it 3 times. And in the denominator, we have 2 to the power of 2, which is 2 times 2. Well, if we remember, 2 divided by 2 is just 1, right? So 2 divided by 2 is 1. Another 2 divided by 2 is 1. And so all I'm left with is a 2 on top, 2 to the power of 1, which is 2. Okay, so let's look at it. Let's do it again. Over here, I'm going to have 3 to the power of 7. So I have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Divided by 3 to the power of 4. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, so I'm going to simplify that. I'm not going to rewrite it again. I'm just going to simplify it right here. Well, 3 divided by 3 is 1. 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 And I'm left with 3 times 3 times 3 in the top and a 1 in the bottom. But I don't have to write a number over 1, right? I just understand it's a whole number. So now let's go ahead and put that back in exponential form. My base is 3, and my exponent is 1, 2. I have 3 of them. My exponent is 3. So 3 to the power of 3. Okay? So let's do this with x's, and we're going to use variables. We have x to the power of 7, so x times x times x times x times x times x. Is it 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, missed one. 7. X times x times x times x. And we can cancel these out. So x divided by x is 1. 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 All I'm left with is x times x times x, which is my base is x, and I have 3 of them, x cubed. So what do we notice about our exponents? We had a 7 and a 4, and we ended up with 3. We had a 7 and a 4, and we ended up with 3. We had a 2 and a 3, and we ended up with 1. So what I see is that we did 3 minus 2 and got 1, an exponent of 1. We did 7 minus 4 and got 3. 7 minus 4 and got 3. Okay? So let's see if that works again. We can do 5 times 5 times 5 times y times y times y times y times y. That's 5 cubed, so I have 3 5s and 5 y's. 5 times 5 and y times y. So let's go ahead and cancel out the things that cancel out. When I divide something by itself, it just becomes 1. So there's 1, there's 1, there's y divided by y is 1, y divided by y is 1. So I have 5 to the power of 1 times y to the power of 3. So I'm going to look back and check and see if that works. 3 minus 2 is 1. So on the 5s, I was left with an exponent of 1. And 5 minus 2 is 3. And on the y's, I was left with an exponent of 3. So I'm happy with that. 5 to the power of 1, y to the power of 3. So I can what I'm doing is when I'm dividing, I'm subtracting my exponents. So here I'm going to end up with 3 minus 2. So I'm going to have 2 to the power of 1, and I'm going to have equals 1. Then I'm going to do 7 minus 3, and that's 4, and that was an a to the power of 4. All right, this next one I'm going to do on my 5s, I will do 2 minus my exponent is 1, so that's 1, so I'll have 5 to the power of 1. My exponents on y are 7 and 5, so that 7 minus 5 is going to give me 2, so I'll have y to the power of 2. Now I want to expand this next one out because it's a little bit different, and I want you to see why. So we'll have a times 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 b, all divided by a times b times b times b times b times b times b. Okay? Let's go ahead and cancel the things out. So a divided by a is 1, a divided by a is 1. Then I have b divided by b and b divided by b. So I'm looking and I see for a's, I did 7. I can do 7 minus 2 and I'll have 5. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a's. So there is a to the power of 5, and those are on top of my fraction, right? And then over here, I have, for my b's, I would do 2 minus 6, and that would give me a negative 4. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 b's, and all of those are in the bottom. So instead of writing b to the negative 4, I'm going to keep my b's in the bottom and make that exponent positive, okay? We're going to talk a little bit more about that on Tuesday, about this rule about negatives. Okay, so we can cancel these out and see, well, it's going to end up in the bottom, so that's where I'm going to leave it. Okay, the most of them are in the bottom. Okay, so now yesterday we noticed that when we had things inside the parentheses, we sent the exponent to everything, and we had to multiply our exponents. So we're going to do the same thing, just like we did yesterday, except now we have this quotient that we have to deal with. So we're going to do 3 fifths times 3 fifths. Because this is squared, I'm going to do it twice. So on the top, I have 3 to the power of 2 over 5 to the power of 2. Multiplying 3. Remember, when we multiply we multiply fractions. Multiplying fractions is no big problem. Top times top, bottom times bottom. Okay, so multiply everything across the top, multiply everything across the bottom. 3 times 3 is 3 squared. 5 times 5 is 5 squared. So here we have to the 5th. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. It doesn't matter how many I have. I'm always going to end up with 1 on top. So it's, I guess we could say 1 to the power of 5. It is going to be 1 though. And then my base is 2, and I have 5 of them. So 2 to the power of 5. So the same thing is happening that was happening yesterday. We're sending that exponent to everything inside. So I'm going to say this one is going to end up being 2 to the power of 3 times x to the power of 3 over 9 to the power of 3. So let's make sure it's true. If I have 2x over 9 times 2x over 9 times 2x over 9, well, I have 1, 2, 3 x's in the top. That's what I wrote. 1, 2, 3 2's in the top, and that's what I wrote. I have 1, 2, 3 x's that I'm multiplying in the top, and that's what I wrote, x cubed. And then on the denominator, I have 1, 2, 3 9's, so 9 3 times. Okay, so here I have 3a squared over 12b times 3a squared over 12b. And so I have two 3's, so my base is 3 and I'm raising it to the power 2. Then I have two a's with the exponents of 2. So remember, when we multiply our variables, when we multiply things that have the same base, we add up their exponents. So we would do a to the power of 2 plus 2 is 4. I have 4 of them there that I'm multiplying, okay? Then I have 2 12, so 12 to the power of 2, and 2 b's, so b to the power of 2. So that means here I'm going to have 3 to the power of 3 times x. What we ended up doing here was we multiplied that 2 by that 2. That's how we got 4. So we're going to do the same thing, multiply 3 by this 2. So x to the power of 6, y to the power of 3. In the denominator, I have 12 to the power of 3, x to the power of 2 times 3 is 6, and y to the power of 3 times 3 is 9. Okay? So there is an assignment. Let's go take a look at that. I want you to work on that, and I'll go over a few of those problems with you tomorrow, but you need to make sure you're working on it, okay? So, I have it in the wrong spot. Here we go. So quotients with powers practice is what I want you guys working on today. Go ahead and submit it after you try it. You'll be able to work on it again tomorrow. You can try it again. And then there's also going to be another assignment for tomorrow. So stay on top of your work. You should have already done products with powers yesterday, quotients with powers today. Tomorrow there's going to be another assignment posted, a maze, okay? So stay on top of your stuff, all right? Email me if you have any questions. Please don't sit at home and struggle. I want to help you. I will make more videos. I will go more in depth. You just have to let me know what you need, okay? See you later.